Hey, how's it going? My name is Arvin and welcome to Develop, Learn, and Progress. And today we're going to talk about the cycles of function, and there are eight of them. And we are going to talk about the benefits of knowing these functions to be able to identify malfunctions of your weapon systems and to be an all around SME on your own platform. So eight cycles function is a mechanical process that a weapon follows. It doesn't matter what type of weapon it is, but some of the systems does not have the eight cycles of functions. Only the one that I identify is the Glock platform pistol and the AR-15. So cycles function starts when the bolt is locked to the rear, magazine inserted into the weapon, and that's the beginning of cycles of function. So three things are gonna happen when I release this slide forward. It's gonna Three things will happen. It's gonna feed chamber and lock that cartridge into the chamber. So there he goes, locks to the chamber. So now that the ammunition is locked into the chamber, uh, creating a seal. And now we are going to work on our firing portion of it. So I'm going to squeeze the trigger. Hammer should fall and you should hear the metallic click. So hammer fall, hit the metallic click. So what's happening on that is that the firing pin is going to hit the primer. Then they're going to ignite the cartridge powder. Then the powder will create the pressure. Then will eject that projectile out of the muzzle. So that's how the firing works. And as the firing complete, it will then unlock. The slide will then unlock, and it goes back. So once it unlocks, the extractor will then grab the cartridge out of the chamber. So extracting, and as it goes back right before it locks, it will eject this round out. Once the round is out, it goes all the way back, thus making the slide lock all the way to the rear. So now your 8 cycles of functions completed in this weapon system. So same goes to this system right here. So it starts when the weapon is clear, bolt lock to the rear, bolt lock to the rear, lock it. So it starts with weapons being clear, chamber, magazine well, bolt face, magazine inserted into the weapon systems. Then as I release the bolt forward, feeding, chambering, and locking is complete. So what it is that during feeding portion of it, as I release the bolt to the rear, the bolt will then grab the cartridge on top of that magazine and introduce that to the feed ramp. So once it reaches the feed ramp, it will continue on to the chamber and settle in there. Then as it completes the ammunition as the ammunition is seated into the chamber, it will then lock that ammunition into the chamber. And the way the lug would work, it will rotate counterclockwise and locking that cartridge between the bolt face and the chamber, creating that headspace, that required headspace that the engineer engineered in order for this weapon to perform safely. So the next portion will be the firing portion of it. Now you're gonna rotate the safety mechanism from safe to semi. then work that trigger back, then firing. Now the weapon is on the firing cycle. So what it is when the hammer falls, it'll push that firing pin forward, thus striking the primer. Primer will then ignite, then it'll ignite the gunpowder into the cartridge. Then it'll create the pressure, ejecting the projectile out the muzzle, and all the excess gas will then go to your gas key right here. I mean your gas tube all the way down. So your gas area right here, all the way down to your gas tube into the gas key of the bolt carrier that's making this weapon goes back. So it'll unlock as I bring this bolt back. It'll unlock. As you can see, you'll see the cartridge on there getting extracted as it goes back all the way back. Now ejecting is happening, and as it locks, it will cock the bolt to the rear, thus locking it. So that's the 8 cycles of function. This thing happens every time that you fire a round. To identify the 4 types of malfunction, which is failure to feed, failure to fire, failure to extract, and eject. So that's why it's important that you know how this function works. Not only the benefits of it is not only that you are able to understand it, to understand how it works, you'll be able to teach someone that is just getting started on this hobby or a type of work. So either they're in the military, in the police, law enforcement, or even just a regular people that does it for recreational purposes. You're able to transfer those knowledge to them, so they'll be able to be a more all-around practitioner in this type of system. So right before you even go to a range and actually fire a weapon, you should know the basic, which is the basic fundamentals of the system, to be able to be a good and have a good understanding of the system, so to be able to perform to its fullest. That concludes our brief introduction of the 8 cycles of function, and also identify the benefits of knowing this this function to help you be a better shooter, being able to identify and know how the system works, and so you'll be able to employ the systems to its fullest and the way it's intended to perform. So without further ado, man, thank you so much for your undivided attention, and until next time, and I'm out.